work out there, and they'd come through the line, and we'd talk to them. We were flirting with them, and they were flirting with us.
That's what I was
And
worried
couldn't
about.
say it. And we couldn't speak German, they couldn't speak
You're over there.
And
She's over here flirting.
She was flirting with my buddies.
with those German kids. Yeah,
Oh,
we knew a lot
God.
of it over here, because a lot of them came over here.
Yeah.
And you wonder what happened to all those kids, because America couldn't keep them. They sent them back to
Yeah.
Germany.
Sure.
And Germany was bombed off the face. of the
Bad,
world.
bad shape.
It was in bad things. But
And I want to. That's interesting. Thank you for sharing that.
yeah.
Because I think a lot of times we forget how much of a countrywide effort supporting
yeah.
the war was.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Everybody had it. skin in the
Everybody
game.
had a part
Everybody
of it.
had a part in it.
And we ended up as teenagers on Main Street downtown when they declared the war open, and danced all night long up and down Main Street.
Tell me about
downtown.
that. So what was that? What was that like?
Oh, we had a ball. We had a ball. We stayed down there all night long celebrating the end of the war. I
That's-
lived in Raleigh. I grew up on James Road, and we had ridden the yellow bus to work. I was working downtown then, and my cousin was too. And when we heard that the war was over, we caught that bus coming back, went downtown and stayed.
Were there a lot of servicemen downtown
Oh,
too?
yeah, because we had the naval base
Sure.
at Millington.
I was worried about it.
Oh, you didn't even know me. We jitterbugged all night long. Had a ball. I never
But-
will forget it.
Yeah, I can see the energy in you. I mean,
Oh,
it had to have
yeah.
been amazing
It
to go
was.
through such turmoil and then
Yeah.
She did. She did. Great.
Yes, yes. So we went, it was bad for us back here too.
Sure.
Everything was rationed.
Mhm.
In fact, I grew up on James Road, and I had never been, and that's in Raleigh, I had never been to Collierville.
Yeah.
Gas was
Different.
rationed.
Of course.
We didn't have.
Did you have family members in the war?
Yeah, my brother was in the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
He was.
Yeah.
And their ship was bombed too. And then the other Webbs that come out here with us, our double first cousins,
Mhm.
he had a brother killed on the ship. They sunk.
Oh,
the,
wow.
Yeah, they sunk his ship.
Yeah, I think I met your cousin
Yeah,
at
JT,
the
JT.
Veterans Day.
Yeah, I think you
Good,
did too.
good man.
Yeah, he
A good
lost
guy.
a brother. Yeah.
So, Mr. Webb, you had touched on something that you really caught my attention. You were talking about the children in Germany
Mm-hmm.
and everything they went through, and it really touched your heart. So, what did you mean by that?
Well, being around kids, and I've always been around young people and kids, you couldn't help but fall in love with them and treat them better than you would anybody else.
And
And
this
they-
picture
they
that
had
you
a
shared,
And we
They
brought
had a
pictures
hard
of the little
time.
girl they were so crazy about.
this one here.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
God.
Now, was this after the war, after Germany,
yeah, that was-
Germany
yeah.
surrendered?
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
slowing down.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the one we shared before. So this is in Germany, and this
Yeah,
is
uh-huh. And I don't know what part.
You can
but
tell she's German. Look at
It's,
that pretty hair.
all the building was
And the
blown
little
apart.
dog.
and that was her dog.
Her dog.
They shared their
And the
rations
cutest
with
little
her.
girl. I never will forget her.
She,
I just
he's
fell
got
in love with her.
numerous pictures of her. They took a lot of them with her.
Yeah,
And some of his, but you could see everything was bombed out.
Right.
yeah.
And so, your lovely wife was mentioning that they were training to go to Japan now.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, luckily, we dropped the bomb, 2 of
Mm-hmm.
them. What do you remember hearing that we had dropped the nuclear bomb? And
Yeah, that news gets around fast.
and what
you know.
do you recall what you felt and kind of what?
Well, I celebrated because I knew I wasn't going anywhere from there. I wasn't going to Japan. I wasn't going any place.
Tell me, is that when you started to realize you might just survive this war?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Things look better,
Right. Was there ever a point, maybe this is a silly question, but was there ever a point where you thought, you know what, I'm just not going to survive this day? Did you ever feel like this was so bad that you were not going to survive the day?
You had to kind of get that out of your mind, you know, and feel like I'm gonna make it. And so I made it.
So you never let that doubt come into your mind?
I kept that feeling all the time, you know, I've got to get out of this and get back to Collierville,
Right.
you know, get back.
Get back home.
Those
Get back
cows.
home.
They were waiting for you
That's
to come
right,
home.
boy.
Cows are waiting for you to come home.
They were waiting.
Yeah.
And so, how did you? What was it when you? How did it come to be that you got out of the Army? I mean, was your enlistment over, or how
Yeah.
did that work out?
It worked out, and
Were you in Germany when you
Yeah.
finally got out?
yeah, and of course I got back in the States, and
Rode the Queen Mary back.
The Queen Mary there and back.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
and I just let my officer over me let him know I was ready to go, and I wanted to go get out of there,
Yeah.
and
And
he
said,
helped me
okay.
get out.
What did it feel like to be on the Queen Mary going home?
Man, it wasn't nothing like it. We celebrated and probably got drunk.
You deserve to get drunk
I
after
did.
everything you did.
I
went through.
did. Everybody else was getting that way, and I said, well, I got to do the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wasn't much of a drinker, but I did get
Sure.
drunk once in a while.
And sick. Sick.
You got seasick?
Yeah.
Going and coming.
Yeah.
Those boys had
Yeah.
never been on a ship.
It was
Yeah.
rough, boy.
I was in the Navy. I know how rough
You
it can
It
get.
knew
was
what it
rough.
was.
Yeah, it can get rough.
You know how rough it was.
Yeah, I do indeed. So you landed in New York again,
Yeah.
and then you took
Yeah.
a train back to.
Yeah. They finally got to you, you know, and put you back where you were supposed to be.
And what was homecoming like when you came back to? Were you in Germantown or Piperton at that point? Where did your family live? Piperton.
They had moved to
Piperton.
Piperton.
Yeah.
So what was homecoming like
Oh,
when you stepped off the
celebrated.
train?
I celebrated, boy.
Let me ask you: did you get off the train here in Collierville at the town square? Where did you end up?
I did, didn't I? Got out.
I can't remember.
So much happened and so
Sure,
fast.
Sure.
I got lost half of the time.
What was it like to see your family for the first time coming home?
Oh man, I didn't think I'd ever see them again. You know, it looked rough for a while,
Yeah.
and finally it settled down some, and I had hopes of getting home.
Yeah. Did your mom give you a big hug?
Oh, what you talking about? Like to kill me?
Told him he could go back to work in that dairy.
Yeah.
Oh, did you go back to work in the dairy afterwards?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Just like I hadn't been away.
Yeah. And so, how long did you work in the dairy?
Well, he'd been in the dairy all of his life.
Quite a while.
Yeah. You'd been home, what, a year? Not quite a year when we met.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew his sister. I grew up with his sister, so she
She stayed in
introduced me.
touch with my family, and
Yeah. So I think you'd been home about a year when we got
I
married.
think so.
And you two have been married 66 years?
68.
68 years?
November
She
the
put
20,
up with me that long, man.
Oh, are you kidding me?
November the
You guys-
22nd.
I think my wife and I are the happiest married, and you're probably the second happiest married.
I'm sure.
Well, we've made it.
We made it all right.
So what were those post-war years like? I mean, well, first of all, how did you two meet? You knew
I
his
knew his
sister.
sister. Mhm, she introduced
Yeah.
me to him.
Met through our family.
Was it love at first sight?
No.
Was it love at second sight?
Well, maybe. We
I
dated-
finally worked my way in.
We
Yeah.
dated a year. And finally, I think I grew up out on James Road out of Raleigh, and I think he finally
I was in
decided
Germantown.
he'd marry me and get me out here so we wouldn't have to make that long trip. No, I've always loved Collierville.
How could you not fall in love to this guy here in this
Well,
uniform,
That's
man?
right, boy. It
Well, he
looks
was
tough.
out of that uniform when I met him. All that was over with.
Yeah.
Sure,
So-
of course.
Yeah. But we had a good time.
We
That's
did.
when
We
big
enjoyed
families.
each other.
Chuck had 5 brothers, 5 sisters, and they all came to Piperton. That's when families got together on Sunday.
Uh-huh.
We swam in the river,
Yeah. Wolf River?
Wolf
Yeah,
River.
Wolf
I've
River.
swam in that river lots of times.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
And it was enough. We had a baseball game down there where the big bank is. That was his dad's place.
Yeah.
He had 200 acres right there.
In Piperton?
I
Bought that in
our
40,
property
paid
went
$50
right on
an
down
acre.
to the river.
And we bought the 16 acres where the highway cut it off from the original place. We bought that, 40, almost 47.
Something like that.
Yeah. Paid $100 an acre for it.
Nice. So you were neighbors to the Pipers then?
Oh, yeah.
Ann
Oh,
Blake
yeah.
and
We
all
knew
that?
Yeah.
all the
Uh-huh.
Pipers.
Uh-huh.
The grandmothers and grandfathers
Right.
were all there. That was an old Piper place where Mr. Webb,
Yeah.
Ms. Webb bought that,
Uh-huh.
and where we lived. Yeah, so we figured out the other day, Bernice Carville. I don't know whether you've got anything. She and Chet graduated together in 41, Collierville High School. Went to Germantown till Christmas, all of his life. Had a big dairy farm on Massey Road, can you imagine?
Yeah.
And then Mr. Webb sold that at Christmas, and they moved to Piperton, and he bought that 200 acres. So he had to leave Germantown High School and graduate at Collierville with these kids.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but
Collierville High
you
School.
know,
I made it fine.
Yeah. And you guys still live in Piperton now,
yeah,
right?
we're
Yeah.
still there.
Uh-huh.
It's still some of your land
Yeah.
there?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we bought from Willard Ewan. We bought 8 more acres, and our son bought 8, and our place is still there. They've taken we sold that 16 years ago. We
Yeah.
lived there 53 years.
Nice.
Raised 3 sons.
Yeah.
So that Piperton's home to us, but we never dreamed it'd be what it is now.
Right. Everything's growing.
It's $1 million homes behind us,
Mhm.
but it was nothing but dairies, just dairy, dairy, dairy. That's all.
Yeah.
Pasturing cows.
That's amazing.
It is.
Time flies, right?
Oh
Yes, it
yes.
Time flies.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So our time is kind of running short now, and I'd kind of like to ask you, if you were going to kind of leave a message based on your life experiences, especially how you learned and grew in the war and everything else, and your time together. I mean, do you have a thought or kind of something you'd like to leave for folks to think about that based on your life and your experiences?
Well, I'd say it wasn't all good, we had a lot of problems, and finally it settled down, and just like normal people, and so that's kind of how it ended.
A lot of give and take.
Yeah, you're right there, baby.
And we've had a lot of trials too. Out of our 3 boys, we've lost 2.
Oh, I'm so sorry. to hear
Our
that.
oldest son and our youngest son both died with cancer.
Oh,
Yeah,
And
That's
that's
tragic.
not supposed to be
no.
yeah.
at our age.
Right. I'm so sorry for that. Your
Yeah.
loss. That's terrible.
But if you've got faith in the Lord,
Yes.
you're going to be taken care of. And we've always been real active in our church, and we've always had fun together. We've
I love to watch you guys
traveled.
dance when.
We dance. We love to dance, and we love to travel.
We
don't anymore, but
go out
we've
on
been-
parties and different things, and try to stay young, I guess, is what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And we're
And,
members of the First Baptist Church.
Yeah, we go to
changed his
church.
letter from
We're
Germantown
church
41,
people.
and I did in 46.
Sometimes we don't
and
act like it, but
Lord will forgive us at this age.
I hope so.
But it's been a good marriage. Like I said, it's always a lot of hard, rough places.
Well,
But
you two
we-
are an inspiration to me personally, and I'm sure to most everyone who meets you.
Well.
And so it's been such an honor and a privilege to talk to you and to hear your story and to hear your story. I wish we had more time to talk to you about your experiences.
Well,
that would be
my
awesome.
father
She's
was
a good
World
one,
War
huh?
One.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he
that's-
drove ambulance number 13 out on the battlefields and picked up I've got worlds
That
of
is
his
amazing.
memorabilia
Right.
and all of his history.
Mhm.
Now that's been a long time.
Now, Mr. Webb, do you have military service in your history, your family history? Did your dad or your brothers or uncles, were they in the service?
No, first cousins.
Yeah, it
JT.
gets down to
Yeah,
cousins.
JT, that comes out. He was in the Navy,
Right.
and then his brothers.
I'm the youngest of big
10.
family.
5 girls,
And,
5 boys.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
And most of them stayed out of everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, listen, it has
older.
been such an honor. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your service. Thank you for being such a role model for all of us.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
I enjoyed
Miss
it.
Webb, thank you
He's
so much.
I enjoyed it.
much of
I
it.
forget everything
And
too,
I-
so we all forget.
I
Yeah.
tried to keep up with a lot of his things, and you were wanting that unit number.
Yes.
Unless it's on some of this paperwork.
No, that's okay. I was just trying to do some research.
Oh, okay.